Hey, good morning. My name is Paul Hofflins. I know you've seen David, but you're stuck with me today. Got a few things I want to talk about this week. First and foremost, the Fed is in Europe. Let's talk about what that means for you, what that might mean for the market. The S&P is coming off best quarter it's had since 2020. What does that mean for your money? And more importantly, what are the risks involved with that? That and more, all before the bell opens here on this Wednesday morning. Let's start off by talking about the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh. He is on his first international trip in Portugal, speaking at the European Central Bank's annual economic forum. You don't know how many takes it took me to get that right. So, why is that important for you and your money? We're in a news cycle right now where the market is hanging on every single word the Fed says. But we're at a point where it's gone well beyond words. They're now starting to look at how is he saying things? What's the tone? What's the body language? Does he have his hands in his pocket? Are his arms crossed? All of these little context clues are either leading the market to be optimistic or pessimistic about things going forward. So we'll get a chance to hear him talk. In addition to him, though, we're going to get to hear all of the leaders of the central banks in Europe talk as well. And we are in an economy now that's not just strictly US based. We're in an economy that's global. And what's going on in Europe does have an impact, good or bad, on the market domestically. The good news seems to be, we hope to hear, that inflation is starting to cool in Europe. That would be good for everybody. But what is happening domestically? So, why does what's happening in Europe matter to you? The number one goal of the Fed is to try to control inflation. The number one tool the Fed has to control inflation is interest rates. If the Fed feels that inflation is too high, the Fed will raise interest rates to slow the economy down. And that's a good thing because lower inflation means that gallon of milk that you buy at the store isn't going to be 20 bucks. But it's bad for the economy because it means that people will be buying less cars, less houses, because it's more expensive to buy those big ticket items. So this is going to be an important week because A, we have a new Fed, B, he hasn't given us much direction yet, and C, the market's going to be keeping an eye on his body language, not even actually what he says. So just to close out the segment on the Fed, this week is an important week because we are going to be getting jobs numbers on July 2nd, which is a day earlier than normal, but we have a holiday coming up. So they're doing us a favor and getting it out a day early. Why are jobs numbers important for the Fed? The Fed uses a formulaic approach to determining if the economy is too hot and they need to raise interest rates, or if the economy is running too slow and they need to lower interest rates. So, again, that is a mechanism they use to speed up the economy or slow it down. Jobs numbers are part of that formula. Jobs numbers are expected to come in around 110,000 new jobs. That'd be fantastic. But if that number comes in too much higher than 110, let's say it's 150,000 jobs, that could be a message to the Fed that the economy is too hot. And that could lead to them either not cutting interest rates for the rest of the year or potentially even raising interest rates later. Now, if job numbers come in below the expected 110,000, that may actually give them the fuel to cut interest rates to help speed up the economy a little bit. So anytime jobs numbers come out, it's always going to be headline news because it is a big part of how the Fed determines, is the economy too hot or is it too slow? So good news. The S&P 500 is coming off its best quarter since 2020. All of this excitement has some people like JP Morgan talking about a blue sky scenario, meaning that they see more optimism coming in the future. And it's not just them. A lot of talking heads on Wall Street see the same thing. The important thing to note is why there's so much excitement, why there's so much growth recently. And it's no secret. We've talked about it before. David's talked about it. A lot of it is around the AI and the tech sector, but not necessarily what it's doing. It's what investors hope it will become in the future. There's been billions, trillions of dollars invested in it. It certainly appears to be the future, right? AI seems to be the next internet, or the next PC computer. It's a big deal and it'll probably change our lives forever. A lot of investors are betting that the growth will continue, but there's a flip side. What if the growth doesn't continue? What if these companies don't start turning a profit? All this money, all these trillions of dollars that have been invested, what happens to it? Someone's got to pay that ticket. The reality is a lot of portfolios around the world right now are invested very heavily in this tech sector. And it's logical. While the getting is good, you might as well get some of it, right? But when things crash, the things that are the hottest tend to crash the most. So what if these bets are wrong? What if these companies don't start turning a profit? We could see the market react violently downward if some of these hopes don't pay off. Just to further illustrate the excitement in this sector, we've talked recently about the IPO SpaceX, biggest IPO in history, part of this sector that's on fire. It's a very exciting time to be an investor. What a time to be alive. But the reality is there's more SpaceX is coming. There's more IPO, more record-setting IPOs coming. We have Anthropic. We have a litany of other hardware-related IPOs that are coming live soon. Be excited, enjoy it, but be cautious. Hope you found this information useful. We'll continue to keep an eye on everything going on in Europe, everything going on in the tech sector, everything going on in the economy, and continue to bring that to you each week. I want to take this opportunity to wish you a happy 4th of July, happy 250th birthday, America, and we'll see you next week.